Hi guys, how are you doing today? Welcome back to Random Lifestyle Vlog. If you're new here, my name is Paulina. This channel is all about beauty that includes skincare, makeup and fragrances. Today we're going to be talking about yet another new fragrance release from 2024, and this is Scandale Absolu by Jean Paul Gaultier. So it's obviously a flanker of the original scent Scandale that was released in 2017. And looking at that dent, you can see how much I like this fragrance. It is just so good. So the short description of this fragrance would be orange and honey, and like lots of it. It's very strong, loud, beast mode fragrance. It lasts forever. It has this insane projection. We have honey and beeswax here. The orange notes consist of blood orange, mandarin orange and orange blossoms, and there's a lot of that. There are some like other floral notes here. It's just so stunning and pretty unique. I have no idea whether this fragrance is actually better for like a daytime or nighttime use, but to me, since it's pretty heavy, I tend to use it when it's a bit colder outside. But so good. So this was the first fragrance in the range, and that was followed by this fragrance here, and this is Scandale by Night. So I think the name describes this fragrance quite well. This is definitely a more nighttime suitable version of Scandale. So with the original one, I couldn't really tell whether this is more like a daytime or nighttime fragrance. This one is definitely nighttime. This one is still very strong on honey, but the citrusy notes are a bit reduced. Instead of that, we have tonka bean, we have cherry, we have tuberose. So again, we have a lot of like sweet and strong stuff going on. So like nothing changed here. Both fragrances are super strong, but this one is a little bit like darker and maybe sexier, I would say. I think both of these fragrances, great releases. I couldn't tell which one I prefer. It changes from year to year. I think like 2 years ago, I actually preferred this one, whereas last year, this one was my favorite. So then these two fragrances were followed by Scandale à Paris. And this was the type of fragrance I honestly didn't need in my life. I'm not saying it was a bad release, I think it kind of made sense. It was just a much lighter version of the original scent. So this is still a honey-based fragrance, but as I said, a little bit lighter. It has pear in it. Pear usually adds some like airiness to fragrances. So this is pretty much what we've got here. As I said, I did not need that type of fragrance in my life. I love the original Scandale and Scandale by Night. This one was unnecessary, but also I don't really live in a hot climate. This definitely worked much better in like a warmer climate, as well as it was a good alternative for people who found the previous two fragrances a little bit too strong. So up until now, all the flankers shared quite a lot of the original DNA. And that changed with the next release, which was So Scandale. I know many people love this fragrance. This is this musky raspberry scent. There was no honey whatsoever in there. And to be honest, this was the only fragrance from the range I just could not stand. I'm not saying it's a bad scent, but on my skin, it smells like this artificial, plasticky raspberry. And what's interesting, I usually don't mind fragrances like this, but that one is giving me a proper headache. So unfortunately this one was not for me, but I know there are people who absolutely love it. Still, this fragrance doesn't really seem to have much in common with the original scent. Next up, we had quite an interesting release of Scandale Gold. And I have this in this massive bottle, not because I love this fragrance so much, but because it seemed to be the only size that was available here in the UK. So this is 80 mils. And I said this is a pretty interesting fragrance release because, well, again, it doesn't really seem to have much to do with the original scent. I think this fragrance was released with the Middle Eastern market in mind, and to be honest, it does smell like that. It's like a very strong, woodsy, leathery, spicy fragrance. It does have the notes of honey and saffron, which I was really hoping that these are going to be very prominent in the scent, and you can definitely smell these notes here, but they can't really compete with the woodsy, leathery composition of the scent. And don't get me wrong, this is a really good fragrance, but it has almost nothing to do with any of the previous scents. So yeah, I find it quite interesting, but we've got that. And then the most recent flanker is Scandale Le Parfum. Again, this fragrance seems to be like a standalone scent. It doesn't seem to have much to do with any of the previous fragrances in the range. This smells like if Hypnotic Poison by Dior and Alien Essence Absolue by Mugler had a baby. This smells like that. It's this very like strong, sweet fragrance with caramel and jasmine. It has a little bit of this kind of medicinal almost opening, which I associate with both Hypnotic Poison and Alien Essence Absolute. And yeah, that's pretty much what it is. It's not about fragrance. It actually smells really good. It is quite sexy. I just don't really find this fragrance particularly unique, but it's still good. And that leads us to the 2024 release Scandale Absolu, and I'm happy to inform you that we're back to the original DNA. Yay! Before we talk about the juice, I need to mention the bottle. As you can see, it's a little bit different now. This is the original bottle, this is the new one. This was actually changed with the last flanker, Le Parfum. So as you can see, the shape looks the same. So compared to the old bottle, I'm not really too sure which one I prefer. I think they're both nice. What do you think? Anyway, let's talk about the notes. So the notes mentioned in Fragrantica are top notes, tuberose, middle notes, black fig, and base notes, sandalwood. And I'm not going to lie, I struggle to believe that these are the only notes that are in this fragrance. It seems like recently fragrance creators don't reveal the whole composition of a fragrance, they just give you the main notes. And I think that's what they did with this fragrance, because I can definitely smell honey here. Like, I might be wrong, sometimes certain fragrance composition can play tricks on your senses, but the honey is like almost too noticeable here. I'm also suspecting coconut, because there's definitely something that smells very coconutty in this scent. So if you're looking at the notes in Fragrantica, which is tuberose, sandalwood, and black fig, and you're trying to imagine a fragrance that's going to be like a composition of these three notes, don't, because it's not as simple as it seems. Honestly, this is not how I would imagine a fig, tuberose, sandalwood fragrance would smell. Not at all. So the way I would describe this fragrance is this perfect summery version of the original one. It is still pretty heavy, I'm not going to lie, but the fact that it's literally giving coconut makes it like a perfect summer night fragrance. I think this is brilliant if you love the original Scandale, if you loved Scandale by Night. I think you'll be able to appreciate that, but I would definitely not trust those like Fragrantica notes only. If you want to base your opinion on that, just go and test it, see for yourself, see how you feel about that, and then you'll see if you want to buy it or not. So is it a safe blind buy? I think if you're a fan of the original fragrance of A Scandale by Night, then you'll probably like that one too. Otherwise, probably better not to blind buy it. It has a really good lasting power, it has a great projection, so there's no disappointment here. I love it. I love the fact that it has some of the original DNA. I love the summer vibes I get from this fragrance, so it's a big thumbs up from me. Okay guys, so this is everything from me. Have you tried this fragrance yet? If so, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you very much for watching. For more fragrance related content, check those videos over here. I'm going to see you very soon. Take care. Bye.